this video, we're going to show you how productivity can be affected by the way we use Microsoft Excel. We will be using three methods to solve the same problem. First, we will use Microsoft Excel without its advanced functions. Second, we will prepare a template with advanced functions to solve the problem. And finally, for the third method, we will use the programming language VBA to automate the tasks required to solve the problem. The objective is to show the effort required by each method and its effect on productivity. So let's start by explaining the problem we will be working on. We're going to use a simple example of summarizing data coming from files that are produced on a daily basis. We want to summarize the data per day and per week. Let's look at the source file and evaluate the challenges that we are going to face. So each source file contains three columns. Column A holds the section names. We have here A, B, C, and so on as section names. And column C and D contains the data that we want to summarize. We want to do three things with this data. First, in column F, we want to sum the data values for each row, and then in column H, we want to calculate the average for each section. And for the third task, we want to sum the average values for 5 days for each section. And this is what the end file will look like. So we want to fill this matrix where the title row represents the days and the title column represents the sections. And in this column, we have the sum for each section. There are two complexities to this problem. First, the number of lines per section varies. We can see here that section A has 4 lines, section B has 3 lines, and section C has 6 lines. The second complexity lies in the fact that not all sections are in each file. In this file, for example, we have sections A, B, C, D, and so on. In another file, we are missing B and E. Okay, so let's start with method 1. This example is fairly simple. For this one, we are not using any special functions. So first, we are copying the source files to the main summary file. Then the formulas are copied and pasted for task 1. The same thing is done for task 2. For task 3, in the main summary worksheet, we will reference each cell of the summary matrix to the values for each day and section and complete the 5 days sum. We will skip to the end of method 1 and only show the resulting file. For this method, 42 minutes were needed to process the data. Since everything is done manually, the potential for error for this method is high, so we need to do a lot of cross-checking in order to avoid errors. For method 2, we are creating a template with advanced formulas. The formulas for task 1 and 3 are already created in this template. For task 2, we will need to copy and paste the formula since the number of lines per section varies. So let's begin. First, we copy the raw data into the appropriate worksheet of the template. And as you can see, the values for task 1 are automatically calculated. Then, as we fill or copy and paste the formula for task 2, the values in the summary page get updated automatically. We will now skip to the end of method 2. So this is the completed summary page for method 2. It took about 11 minutes to prepare the template and 16 minutes to process the weekly data. As with method 1, there is also some manual data manipulation in method 2. And this, again, can be a source of human error, so cross-checking will also be required. For method 3, we are using VBA, and this is where we fully automate things. The Excel template and the VBA code have been prepared. I also prepared a shortcut key to call out the VBA code. Let's start filling the data. Sheet 1. Sheet 2. Sheet 3. Sheet 4. And sheet 5. And that's it. It took less than a minute to prepare the weekly summary with method 3. Let's analyze the results. Method 1, we did not prepare any templates or formulas, but it took 42 minutes to process the data, and this needs to be done on a weekly basis. Method 2, it took 11 minutes to prepare the template and formulas, and it will take 16 minutes on a weekly basis to process the data. Method 3, it took 6 minutes to prepare the templates and formulas, and a big 8 hours for generating the VBA code. This again is done only once, but for data processing, it will take only 1 minute per week. When we compare method 1 and method 2, we can immediately see that method 1 is not a great solution. So we will remove method 1 from consideration and compare only method 2 and method 3. To compare these two methods, we will look at the cumulative hours of work. And here on this graph, we can see that for method 3, VBA, although the investment in the beginning is significant, the payback comes after 7 months, which is fairly quick. What we also need to keep in mind is that this payback is for a fairly simple problem. The smallest increase in complexity, for example adding a few more lines of data or more complex formulas, then the payback for VBA comes even faster. The other point that needs to be considered is the potential for human error. With method 1 it is high, with method 2 it is average, and with VBA it's nearly none. So the big picture here is the more complex the project is, the better it is to rely on automation to solve it and to increase your productivity. This completes our video. Thank you for watching.